Well, coming up on Dub Zone, Bosch, City's US import, carves up victory in the derby. It's a 7-year low for Sydney FC after back-to-back defeats. And Michelle Heyman brings up her ton for Canberra in New Zealand. Well, hello and welcome to Dub Zone. I'm Amy Duggan. Great to be with you again for week 2 and joined today by A-League commentator Teo Pellizzeri and Sydney FC legend Teresa Polias. Awesome to have you guys here. I want to start the show with a bang, so let's check out this belter from Sheridan Gallagher. That is absolutely effortless. So if we have this on offer after 2 weeks, what else can we expect?
It was an absolute bomb, wasn't it? And look, she deserved the goal. She's come on last week and created lots of chances, and today it paid off.
And that was the culmination of a truly chaotic, wild game. Lots of fun. And it's all business for Sheridan Gallagher, but we'll explain why there was no big celebration.
We will, and we'll get into that game a little later. But, Teresa, what else caught your eye in round 2?
I thought the Melbourne derby was a phenomenal game. I didn't want it to end. So much quality on display, and I'm sure we'll delve deeper into that soon.
T?
I think Adelaide are back. We flagged last week that they were getting the band back together, but they've had a big win with a lot of their familiar faces sitting at home in Adelaide watching on Paramount and 10 Play. So it means that this new look Adelaide, with some new ideas, they're very exciting.
Well, we will check out Adelaide's form in a minute, but we're going to start with the big one, touted as the best game of the weekend, and that was the Melbourne derby. Did it live up to expectations?
Absolutely. Lourdes Bosch, I mean, what a player. Both teams had key players in key moments that really produced, and it was such a roller coaster of a game.
Teo, you couldn't ask for more than 5 goals, could you?
No, and also the fact that both teams led. We had one team come from behind to lead, and then the other do the same thing in the second half. The seesawing nature, and the most exciting thing is there were no flat spots. Great moment of quality here. Alana Janchevsky on her non-preferred foot. And again, the heartwarming story of someone who grew up supporting Melbourne victory. You might have seen the social media posts of, you know, little Alana in the victory kit.
I did.
It's a shame it wasn't a match winner because Melbourne City, they showed great determination to come back, and the match-winning goal was a really good finish.
They were all phenomenal goals, but yeah, the Janchevsky story is really heartwarming, and you could see what it meant to her in her celebration.
That top-line quality at the end there from Mariana Speckmaier, 2 goals, the match winner right at the end, started and finished the scoring, and a deserved win for City.
Well, there was a question over the offside, but obviously it's there, it's in the back of their net, and they all count and they take all 3 points home. Lourdes Bosch, absolutely outstanding. I don't think we talked about her enough last week, but on the ball, that footwork is amazing.
Yeah, and you almost, as a defender, it feels like they know what's coming and you just can't stop it. Just her ability to change direction at pace, she really draws in the defender and goes. It's very hard to manage.
Melbourne victory might have come into this game with a plan to try and stifle Rihanna Policina in the middle, but the wide areas are where City had a lot of joy, and Bosch was good against Perth in round 1, but really outstanding in this game.
Absolutely, and I think Victory tried to sort of manage her by double teaming her at times, but yeah, she was just unstoppable.
And I love players like this that never give up the chase and go in against a goalkeeper. It's one of those ones you never want to hurt anyone, but you absolutely want the ball, and in that case it paid off.
City have done it again. They signed Julia Grosso straight out of college. You know, she was their player of the year, now in the NWSL. It's a great selling point to these players that don't get drafted in the US leagues. Now Bosch could do exactly the same thing and follow the same path.
There was one moment in the 73rd minute that was a little bit controversial, Teo, and it's the yellow card. Should this have been a second yellow?
Well, let's start with the former player T. Are you giving Alexia Apostolakis her marching orders?
I would, yes. I do believe it was a second yellow, but referee out there deemed it, you know, not for whatever reason. And it's not like there was any. Yeah, look, that's a card. And Alex Chidiac was getting hammered all game, so.
She's done the perfect thing though and run away as if nothing to see here.
Veteran move from the 18-year-old. I think Georgia Ghirardello is probably the second best, maybe even the best referee in the league.
She is.
I trust her judgment. And I think the issue is that Alex Chidiac gets fouled so many times a game.
She does, but that is the issue,
But it almost becomes so repetitive that if you're going to reach for your cards every time you see Chidiac fouled, Victory need to find a way to protect her.
But if they're not getting the ball, Teo, if they're getting her legs like they just did, you know, that's
It was
a card.
late.
A
It was
card's a card.
high. It was, you know,
It's
they were
going to
on
take
the
10
attack.
yellow cards. That's, you know, that's the rule.
Closer to the box.
Yeah. Well,
No
yes.
question. I'm just wondering if it's because it's in the middle of the field and.
Look, she would have been away. That's my take on it. But I accept
hard
Girardello's
taskmaster.
decision. She is a good ref. And look, you just have to play with what decision's made, and they accepted that, and we move on. Yeah.
Let's talk about some positives for victory, because I think one of those positives has been Nikki Flannery. After making the move from Canberra, she seems to be re-energised, is the way I'd put it.
She does. She does look re-energised. She was getting good ball out on the flank and put great crosses in. Obviously, the Yanchevsky goal shows that. But yeah, she looks like she's really refreshed.
Let's not forget, when your weapon is your speed, Nikki Flannery came back from an ACL in 2022 that she suffered in COVID circumstances in 2021, making the rehab even that little bit more aggravated and difficult, having to do so much of it alone and in isolation or lockdowns or whatever was on at that time. But now we're seeing her a couple of years removed from that, a great asset on the wing. And with these 4 Matildas games coming up, T, are you seeing someone who, let's not forget, she suffered that ACL in a Matildas ID camp. Could she be back at that level soon?
Well, she'd definitely be on the radar if she keeps playing the way she has been. I know it was mentioned on the coverage that they have been working on getting her the ball out wide and good crosses into the middle, which is what she did for Gilnick. Her service was great. So I think it's more about consistency now for Nikki Flannery, and moving forward, she could get that call up again.
Yeah, and kudos to any player that has to make the move to a team they've played against as a nemesis for years and years and years, and finding your feet early, because those relationships, while the girls are tight-knit and know each other really well, it's always difficult making that move.
It was weird seeing her not in green, right?
Well, it was weird seeing her running at Carly Rossback, and those two were
Good mates,
great friends
you know,
in Canberra
growing
for
up.
such a long time. Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
All right, let's head over to the West Coast, because it was a Perth Glory home game against Newcastle Jets. But you have to say, Newcastle are their own worst enemy.
Yeah, started off with a no-no of a ball straight through the middle there. Always a vulnerable pass there.
Second game in a row they've fallen behind to really a giveaway. How about this from Josie Allen?
What a strike. We've just had so many bombs lately, and great response from Newcastle here.
What does it take from a player, T, to have the confidence to hit him from that far out, as we...
You're asking the wrong person.
This is probably true.
But no, I think just in the moment, the opportunity arises and you don't even think. Really.
Sarah O'Donoghue puts Perth into a 2-1 lead, another teenage goal scorer, and then Kelly Brown from downtown. We seem to be saying this every week.
We do. Look, there are question marks over, Krasaniak's positioning there, but Kelly Brown noticing that and taking advantage.
And the reason for no celebration, of course, is Newcastle had to get the ball back to the middle. It kind of robbed Sheridan Gallagher of the chance to really enjoy what could be goal of the year.
Look, I don't know if she's the type to celebrate too much, but
Oh,
yeah.
no, I remember her first goal for Wanderers. She can celebrate with the best of them.
I couldn't believe the calmness and the coolness of her as takes the ball, gets up, hits it effortlessly. Like there was no power really, but it was such a powerful shot and perfectly picked out.
Perfect technique it was.
Yeah. Well, here she is again. What about this moment?
Well, I mean, that's the Sheridan we came to know in her previous stint in the Ninja A-League. But I think there's a channeled aggression. And you talk about power, force, that ability.
I know.
I mean, I think this is someone who now is a year-round professional athlete is showing us what she can do, and it's very exciting.
Has the break done her good?
I think in terms of how she approaches professional sport, year-round on contract with either the NRL or the A-League Women's. And again, we're taking steps towards year-round contracts for the A-League Women. Maybe it's an insight into just how good the league will look when we reach that point.
Well, something that wasn't good was Daniela Kraseniak's howler. 2 weeks in a row, 2 mistakes, and now, of course, the red card as well. This is such a difficult position to be in. It's a confidence place on the park, and you've really got to be a leader, but that's just crazy.
Yeah, you said it. It's crazy. I'm not sure what was going through her head. I don't know if she sort of didn't realise how far up she was, because it was almost like she was surprised with the card coming out there.
It was one of those moments where quite a few people were saying, hang on, she's done that so naturally. Is that against the rules? And so it was one of those things you just never see in football. Newcastle's challenge now. Tiana Robertson, we saw her come in last season when Izzy Nino got sent off. Now, the backup goalkeeper, Ali Borcher from New Lambton, new to this league, exciting for a Newcastle local to come in and sit on the bench. But Krasaniak's only been suspended for 1 game, but after the first 2 performances, this job is Tiana Robertson's to keep.
Yeah, look, I think it's an opportunity now for, another keeper to step up. And given the mistakes that have happened, if you know, whoever steps up plays well next round, it's probably going to be their spot for a little while.
Well, if you want to see more moments like that, don't forget to get your Ninja Pass. It gives 16s and under free entry to the Ninja A-League matches for the first 4 rounds. So 2 more rounds to go. Sign up, turn up, watch your favourite players live in any stadium. It is a digital pass, so you can jump online or on your device. And that includes your night round as well. So sign up, use the digital barcode for entry at stadiums and check out some of your favourite players. Shall we move on to Perry Park up the Brisbane Roar? I want to start with the positives for Brisbane, and I think we should, but there's some serious questions about Sydney FCT. This is their worst start to a season ever.
Yeah, look, but like you said, I think full credit has to go to Brisbane at home. They were on fire in this game. The intensity they showed, they wanted that win. They wanted it more. And, yeah, Sydney had no response, really.
Speaking of players coming back from knee reconstructions, Chelsea Blissett, only her second game back from her second ACL. Raw controlled possession. They played, I think, largely the way Alex Smith would want them to play. You know, Evie Popadinova getting into a bit of a scuffle with Faye Bryson in the early minutes of the game. And they have a real firebrand in her leading the line.
Yep.
I feel as though there's the leadership of Tamiki Yallop and Tish Woods. Her numbers are off the charts in central midfield. She is probably, I would say, in any position, the best performing player in the league so far this year. So the pre-season they've done, it's starting to, green shoots coming through.
I agree, Tay. I think they've had a really good pre-season as a unit, and it's showing in the first round. I thought they were good last round as well. Didn't get the result, but they did now against no other than Sydney FC. So very positive start from Brisbane.
And Chelsea Blissett, as you said, coming back from an ACL and scoring the winner. It wasn't her first ACL, though. It was her second one, so even more remarkable. We see injuries, you know, especially the dreaded ACL, so often in this game. I cannot wait for all this research that's being done at the moment to finally yield some results.
And this is a player who was in the young Matildas and has basically been robbed of 2 years of development, under 23 opportunities, the chance to, you know, grow and develop her game. So she's got a personality which is very much one of making up for lost time, trying to, you know, reclaim those last 2 years. But what we just want to see is her getting back to her best.
We do. Well, Brisbane on the right track. We can't say the same for Sydney FC, dropping the first 2 games of the season for the first time since 2017. We're asking lots of questions here. T, last week
Skiff, what's wrong?
Hey, it's all right.
Yeah,
I was
last
part of
week
that
you
2017 team. We lost the first few rounds. It's all good. It's okay. This is such a Sydney FC thing.
So blue through
and
and
no,
through.
no, but honestly, it's very common. If you look over the years, there have been a lot of slow starts. I still wouldn't be panicking. I do want to put the feelers out and see what's going on with some selections, but look, the lack of cohesion is a concern.
Well, let's get into that because they omitted Shea Holman and Indiana Dos Santos, which was both healthy scratches. Now, we know that Ante Juric loves to swing the magnets whenever the team loses, and he leaves his team the same whenever they win. Sydney FC, of the 7 outfielders in this league who have less than 50% passing accuracy, 5 of them play for Sydney FC. They have 5 out of the 7 players in this league who are 50-50 propositions of finding a teammate when they pass. They only have 1 outfielder in the top 50 in the league for passing accuracy. What has happened?
We've just identified their problem. But, yeah, it's just, I think, a slow start off a short pre-season where possibly other aspects of the team, you know, were worked on other than cohesion. Well, you know, there's a lot of new players. A lot of big names have gone. Don't forget that. A lot of leaders have gone. So it's just going to take a few rounds. It's such a long season. I have no worries that they
I love the optimism, but I do think he's going to have to settle on the best 11 very soon. And the derby's coming up.
Is this where he changes his methodology? Because it has been winning team stays on, losing team we make changes. Is it time to move towards a starting 11 or a best 11, or is it just going to be keep flinging until we find a combination
Well, he's got
that works?
a lot of midfielders out there. So he dropped 2 amazing players, which is a surprise for me, but I think he's just trying to find the right combination at the moment.
Let's hope that's all it is, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. 11 players having no problems with gelling with Canberra United, who travelled across the ditch to take on Wellington and managed to walk away with 3 points from New Zealand for the first time, T.
Yeah, big result for Canberra. I thought they started on top, and this Markovski-Heyman partnership's really going well at the moment.
And that goal, super special because Michelle Heyman notches up her 100th goal for Canberra United, and of course that Teo increases her lead at the top of the all-time scorers list.
Yeah, she's going to be well clear for years to come. Maybe only when Sam Kerr, we hope, comes back to the Ninja A League at the end of her career is anyone even within maybe a season or
it's
two
unbelievable
of
stuff.
catching Heyman. And we don't know how long Heyman's going to play for. We might be looking at someone who scores
The way
150.
she's going, she could play for another 10 years.
She could. Let's hear what she had to say.
Your 100th goal for Canberra United. Have you?
wow.
Yeah. Well, surely you knew that.
I had no idea. That's pretty cool. So I'll actually remember that one now.
Well, it feels like a Canberra team that's got a bit about it this year. How do you feel about the season ahead?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think we've got an incredible, front three. It's super fun to play with that, and then we've got that, leadership within the back. We're trying everything new this year. It's a year for Canberra to, give it all because we're unsure of where we're going to be next year. So it's our year. We're just going to take it and go with it.
Well, congratulations on the win and your milestone, which you can now celebrate. Thanks for having a chat to us.
Cheers. Thanks heaps.
Cheers. Thanks, Michelle. Did you not know? You're on
Can you believe it? She had no idea she'd reached 100. She scored so many across her career
Humble
that
as
she
ever.
lost count. But it's all right, Michelle. You can start all the way again at 101 next week.
Canberra, Sally James, excellent in goal. Wellington Phoenix had a heap of chances to actually get back in this game. And Anthony Jagranek, the coach, I think he would prefer to win 1-0 than 5-4, and he got his 1-0 here. Not without Wellington absolutely spurning some chances.
They couldn't buy a goal at the moment, Wellington. They just created so much, particularly in that second half, and it just wouldn't go in for them. But, yeah, credit to Canberra, and it came to a point where Jagranek said, let's, just hold them out here.
Yeah, it was a tale of two halves, wasn't it? Canberra definitely better in the first half. Wellington came out firing in all these chances in the second half, but just could not finish. Is it just a matter of time before they start going in, or are they just unlucky, or are they missing, someone up front that can finish well?
Olivia Ferguson only played 10 minutes off the bench, and she's already only 10 minutes into her career in this competition, carrying the hopes of this team. It does feel as though Wellington, is it going to be like a couple of years ago where they were a nearly team, then they had that big 5-0 win at the Cake Tin against Canberra.
And the floodgates open.
But it didn't happen every week. So they don't want to turn this into a huge build-up to have one massive win. They want to actually get consistent results.
They do, and I do think the chances were coming from a variety of players, which is a positive. And I think once one goes in, I think the floodgates will open for them.
Well, let's hope so for them. There was a couple of moments, and it did drag on for a few moments, that had us all barking mad. Oh. Have you ever seen anything, T, like this
I was in
happen,
stitches.
In the A-League?
I just was in stitches, and then all the players trying to sort of entice the dog to them. Oh my goodness. And then finding out it was Annalie Longo's own dog, that was just next level hilarious.
A tough one for a commentator to call, especially without any research.
Well, we've seen sports washing, now we've got dog washing.
Finally found her. Oh,
I love it because all the players were on the floor. They're all calling the dog in. They're all down on the ground. No one had treats. The dog would only recognise Annalie, surely. Surely it would only recognise Annalie. What a moment during the match. But this is what Annalie had to say about it. She said, all the emotions went through my head. I'm thinking, how on earth is she on the pitch? Do I chase her? What do I do? It was so loud as well because everyone was obviously making a lot of noise. But so glad that she made people smile.
definitely did. Oh.
The commentator covered this beautifully, though.
Oh, Jason Pine, it is the best league in the world for many reasons. And that's another one to add to the list.
All right, well, the Wanderers played host to Adelaide and it didn't quite go the way they were hoping. Teo, right from the beginning, you have touted Adelaide as one to watch this season. 2 great goals. They responded well after their heartbreaking defeat to Victory.
Yeah, and I think the thing that they'll be most pleased about, this is in the first half stoppage time, Emily Condon scoring the opening goal, but they had all the best chances of the first half. And then first 40 seconds of the second half, they come out and score again. Fiona Wirtz third for the year, T. And it was a really resolute defensive performance. Matilda McNamara with the 1 cap, Ella Tonkin starting centre-back for the under-23s. Wanderers had 1 shot on target for the entire game. As much as we can praise the attack, this is also about how much Adelaide have improved at both ends of the pitch.
Yeah, look, defensively, I don't know how much they were tested by Wanderers, but definitely going forward, they look the best they've looked in a few seasons. Healy's a phenomenal player who's working well with Wirtz as well.
Healy reminds me a lot of Hannah Keane. I mean, she's got the
Yeah,
size, she's
yeah,
got the speed,
definitely.
and to already have that level of communication and understanding with some of the other attackers. Lucia Leon was also really good on the right flank in this game. So they just seem, you know, in the absence of Izzy Hodgson, Dylan Holmes, Nano Sasaki, names we've seen in
Yeah,
previous
yeah.
years, they put Sian Dewey in the centre of midfield at 17 years old and she didn't miss a beat.
It's,
So
it's good
it's a really
recruiting
good sign.
and it's good depth that they have.
You mentioned, Teresa, that you know, Adelaide wasn't really tested by the attack of the Wanderers. What has happened to Sophie Harding?
Look, I think she was just isolated throughout the game. I don't recall seeing her get on the ball that much, and even the goals that Wanderers did score, that was off the back of her own defensive work. So they need to change something and change it fast so that they're getting midfielders on the ball, getting them forward and, you know, closer to Sophie Harding.
Matilda McNamara wore Sophie Harding like a glove in this game, and we saw that chance for Kushalaroo there at 0-0. I mean, if that's a goal, it's a totally different game, and Emily Condon scores only a couple of minutes later. Wanderers cycled through the bench in the second half, but from the starting players, Saveska, Sophie Harding, Kushalaroo, they need to keep trying and building into this season because it just seems as though they're going to be starved for opportunities, and when you are, you've got to be clinical when they appear.
Yeah, and the longer it takes for them to click, the harder it's going to be. And they have the players out there. You know, Saveska's a great player. Olivia Price is still out there. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but possibly, again, slow start, the two Sydney teams. It all comes down to the
That's all
derby.
it's about. being in Sydney. We will talk about the derby because that is absolutely coming up next round. I'm curious at where the goals come from for both these sides in the derby.
Yeah, good question there. I do think it's a bigger concern for the Wanderers, given that, you know, they've found it harder to build up and create.
Sydney FC, I mean, they haven't played a home game yet. That's also something to remember. And we know that they are a great draw at Leichhardt. But if you're a Wanderers fan, last weekend was the flat game. This weekend is the response, you know? So I think there's plenty of reason to think that they'll be up for this. They haven't scored or won in the derby since 2019. We keep saying it's time, it's time. If there was ever a time to play Sydney, it's when they're working through issues of their own. So, you know, you tend to throw out the form line in a derby, and I would especially do so here.
Well, you can get your Ninja A-League pass and get on down to that one Saturday afternoon, 2:15 at Leichhardt as well. And plenty more to come in the season because your night round is also headed our way from the 22nd to the 24th of November and will be at Leichhardt Oval.
A-League's Unite round is back.
Oh, my words!
Experience the ultimate three-day celebration of football in Sydney this November. 14 clubs, 6 double headers, 2 massive derbies and global icons. Soak up the energy at the Unite Round fan zone with DJs, football activities, food trucks and meet your football heroes. Get tickets at Ticketek, search Unite Round.
Yeah, all 12 teams there in what promises to be a huge weekend of the Ninja A-League. Let's round out these fixtures, of course, because Western United and Central Coast Mariners went head-to-head 0-0, donuts all around for these two, but plenty of exciting moments. Chloe Lagazo will be ruining a few of them.
Yeah, and Western United probably shaded the first half, the second half. They had one great chance, a bit more of an arm wrestle. This moment here, though, T, that was a great chance for Lagazo to set the tone against a Mariners defence. They've only conceded 1 goal in 2 games and they're looking pretty sturdy this campaign.
Yeah, look, Chloe Lagazo had a couple key chances and it's just one of those games where none of them go in. And Western United aren't a team that usually create too many chances, but they are good at converting. And that first half, they had plenty of chances. Second half, the Mariners were better. But, yeah, couldn't get on the score sheet.
Well, there's a storyline in between the sticks, of course, also because Alyssa Dallestay and Chloe Lincoln are fighting it out for the #1 spot. And at the moment, Dallestay is winning that battle, but Chloe Lincoln's in the Matilda squad and sitting on the bench.
And one of the main reasons I think she was on the bench in round 1 is because she'd just come back from Matilda's duty. But Dallestay kept a clean sheet, and at the end of last season, she won the battle against the import keeper that Western United brought in after Hilary Beale went home, Katrine Larson. So, Dallestay, you can't drop a keeper off the back of a clean sheet, even if your backup is in the Matildas,
Well, I
can
think
you?
that's what it comes down to, and a lot of coaches don't like to change things when, you know, things have gone well. So Yeah, at the moment she's performing clean sheet, so she keeps her spot. I like when coaches reward, good performances.
The only thing it does do is raise the question around Matilda's squad keepers, because this is a trend we're seeing emerging. Matilda's keepers sitting on the bench.
Yeah, and we've had injury issues for Matilda's keepers. We've had Lydia Williams go back to the Ninja A-League. In addition to being injured, she's now retired from the Matildas. Mackenzie Arnold not starting in the NWSL. You'd want Chloe Lincoln getting minutes.
You do.
Western United's priority is the 3 points, and I think they really do think Daloste is their best chance to win at the moment.
Well, and you're hoping that the training environment's, elite enough that they do keep up, with their form. But yeah, very big question marks over goalkeepers.
Well, Daloste is winning the fight at the moment, and someone else who's short a start after the first 2 rounds is Jessica Nash. We saw her debut as a baby for the Matildas. She was 17 at the time, and there's a lot of commentary and a lot being said around that, but is now the time that she can eye off a Matilda's recall?
Well, she's back in the centre of defence, which you might recall was where she played in that game against the United States in 2021. And I think after captaining the young Matildas, has had a good season at Melbourne Victory, now gone to the Mariners in a team where we know Em Husband knows how to organise a defence.
Yep.
I think if we've got these 4 friendlies coming up, 2 against Brazil, 2 against Chinese Taipei, why wouldn't Jessica Nash be basically on the runway for a potential recall?
Look, she's been thereabouts before. She's moved to the Mariners for that sole reason to get minutes as a centre-back. I do think it's early, though. I think she needs to prove herself, a little
bit more?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, okay, so would you call up, say, Matilda McNamara from Adelaide, or would you look at Jessica Nash?
Did the young Matildas have a great World Cup, though?
Well,
So you got to look at all of these
They didn't score a
things,
goal, and
'cause,
they did lose all 3 games.
So,
but, yeah.
I'm
Is this
just
where the
saying, big
23s team
picture-wise,
is now the opportunity?
I think there's a lot of candidates out there before they look at Nash again. That's my opinion.
I think there's no doubt Winona Heatley, having come off her first cap, will probably be in the squad if fit. But I absolutely think there will be at least one A-League centre-back that they will want to give an opportunity to at least experience the camp environment, even if they don't see the pitch.
And don't forget, before she moved to the Mariners, she was playing at right back. So it's still a fresh move back to centre back. I just think she needs a bit of time.
Thank you, Mother Teresa. Well, you can watch all your young stars in action. Round 3 of the Ninja A-League coming your way. Kicks off another action-packed weekend on Friday night. Brisbane Roar taking on Perth Glory. They'll be looking to make a statement at home as they clash with the Glory. Then it's the big one we chatted about earlier. Saturday afternoon at Leichhardt Oval, a fiery Sydney derby with City Pride on the line, followed by Melbourne City going head-to-head with the Central Coast Mariners. Kick-off there from 4 o'clock. Canberra welcomes Adelaide to the capital. That'll be a cracker, I think, given the form of these 2 sides. Newcastle welcome the Wellington Phoenix. Both teams eyeing crucial points to boost their seasons. And the round will wrap up as Melbourne Victory faces Western United in another Melbourne derby. And there'll be plenty of storylines to come out of those games. Or which one, Teo, do you have your eye on?
Newcastle versus Wellington. It's not quite loser leaves town just yet, but you've got 2 winless teams. Gee, big pressure, big stakes, and it's time for Newcastle
Hopefully
to win.
no more goalkeeping mistakes at the back either.
Look, for me, it's Derby week, so I'm looking forward to obviously the Sydney Derby and seeing which Sydney team kickstarts their season.
Yeah, take your kids along.
Of course.
Saturday afternoon.
Of course, take the girls
Get your
along.
Ninja A-League
Absolutely, yes, I'll be there.
Let's hope for the best of weather as round 3 kicks off. That's it from Dub Zone for this week. A big thank you to Teo Pellizzeri and Teresa Polias for their expertise. Good luck this weekend to whoever you're supporting, and we'll see you next time.